I'm walking around with protection, but
I raw dogged it. It was fine.
And you always raw dog.
I began doing this a few years ago, and I was called a raw dog. I said, why am I being called a raw dog? You're living life in the raw.
Yes.
Getting back to reality.
Yeah.
Putting away all the contraptions, the devices, the distractions, and just feeling the moment.
Yeah.
Now,
I've heard of raw dogging as well.
this can be dangerous. I did this on the underground a little while ago. I just sat there looking at it, and I think I was going to be arrested.
Hi, and welcome to the John, Fick and Marky show, also known as Tough Love. Last time we talked about Stone Techno Festival, and now there is some hot news. So there is an announcement just launched today that Stone Techno Festival addresses some critique or some
Disappointment.
backlash. Yeah, some backlash, responding to some backlash to the festival. One might say we sparked it or we call it out, but I don't want to take too much credit for it, whatever. And basically, they say that they're gonna downscale and improve their work. Basically, improving on flow of crowd. Basically, things that we critiqued in our last video, right?
I'm guessing that some of the stuff we talked about. You have to pay 600 euros in order to enjoy something that is your birthright. Okay? You have a birthright to dance to music. Of course, one would say go under the bridge and do it with the junkies there. No problem. Is also stuff that many of the guests and the ravers dancers that were in the festival resonated with and probably expressed their critique to the festival organizers. And maybe the festival organizers were also there on the ground and felt the same, because I hope at least that they are also experienced ravers. So they have that feeling, you know, they didn't build this thing from scratch. They built it on intentions and some vision. And yeah, I guess maybe we want to address their addressing. Maybe
Yeah, let's go. You want to go one by one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what was announced? What was announced as improvements, or as you said, downscaling for upscaling?
2026 was a year of transformation. It was ambitious in some ways, too ambitious. We couldn't deliver the experience we had promised, and we won't pretend otherwise. We weren't happy with it either.
We want to stay true to our core, an intimate, open experience with a club-driven approach, the highest production quality we can achieve built around a music-focused curation.
So do you feel like it was like music heavy or music centered? Because for me it felt like
The flaws? You mean the flaws?
The flaws, I mean, like,
I think the flaws were definitely not about the music itself.
yeah. So it was difficult to dance there because it had like no natural flow. Basically, the entrance to one stage was always from one point.
Yeah, we can come back to the circulation. They definitely mentioned the circulation, but let's start with the music part, okay? So we said it in the last episode, and I'm going to repeat it. Musically, curation-wise, there's not much to change because it's a crazy team. It's a crazy dream team of DJs. Doesn't matter if they're coming from Ostgut or from other places. These are the artists that the people actually came to hear, as in other festivals as well. You know, festivals are built on massive FOMO and like the combination of I always wanted to hear this artist, and they didn't come to my city, she didn't come to my city, so I want to listen to all of them or have the chance to listen to all of them. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet. A festival is an all-you-can-eat buffet for music lovers or for other thing lovers, yeah, but it's a buffet where you can taste everything, where you can try a little bit of this, a little bit of that. That's why it's also a little bit different than a club where you're more immersed into a longer experience. But again, musically, Stone, you were always on a good path. You're still on a good path. All the artists that we have listened to at the festival were good. Even like artists that usually are like kind of boring to me, like you mentioned Andy Martin last time. Even his set, the B2B with somebody there, was a vibe. The music was vibe. It was minimalistic, kind of maybe boring to me, but somebody maybe that goes for the first time from Essen or from around there, listening to Andy Martin for the first time, maybe they were amazed, you know? So I think musically, it's on the highest level possible. And that also connects me to the next point, sound-wise. We said it. It was amazing. I never heard such good sound at a festival that didn't damage my ears. I mean, I'm walking around with protection, but it felt...
I raw dogged it. It was fine.
And you always raw dog.
I began doing this a few years ago, and I was called a raw dog. I said, why am I being called a raw dog? You're living life in the raw.
Yes.
Getting back to reality.
Yeah.
Putting away all the contraptions, the devices, the distractions, and just feeling the moment.
Yeah.
Now,
I've heard of raw dogging as well.
this can be dangerous. I did this on the underground a little while ago. I just sat there looking at it, and I think I was going to be arrested.
Like the planning of the system, you could hear it from there, you can hear it from it. Usually you're struggling because there's only like one sweet spot, and from there you don't hear well, or it's too much. But it was sound wise, it was good next to the DJ, it was good behind the DJ, it was good everywhere. So these 2 points, I wouldn't approach it as flaws. You can always improve, you can always curate more. One tip about the music that I do have is, I know this is a techno festival. I know it's in its name, but you do know, and we all know, that techno was born from the mothership of house, and there is no techno without house. There is no techno set without a little bit of a dive into the history of house. You can keep house fast enough to build it into a techno set, hashtag Ryan Elliott. You can have a house set and have a little bit some techno-ish sounds in it, hashtag Serge Jasmate, You can look it up if you want the name.
Hashtag Serge Jasmate is like most boomer shit I've ever heard. But where's the tech house?
Exactly. How do you think tech house was born? It was born exactly in the intersection, in the transition from house music and clubs into techno. And tech house, at least the tech house that I could call music, is really the golden middle between those two genres. And unfortunately, it's not played enough. The tech house that most people know is gentrification of tech house. With that said, there was a possibility in Stone Techno, there was a possibility to curate the floors in a way that would give stage to both house, techno, tech house, even ambient. And there was some ambient there. There was a chill floor on one end, right? I think there was more place for different genres, and especially in order to show their connection and their coexisting under the umbrella of techno. To show that techno is not only a genre, to show that techno is a mindset, to show that techno is an aesthetic, to show that techno is a vibe and a moment, as our friend Mr. Mace says. There was a possibility to curate and to combine more genres, because I felt at some moments, I was walking around and I was like, this is too much techno.
It all sounds the same.
Yeah, I mean, and Mark was like, it is called Stone Techno Festival. And I'm like, yeah, but techno is not only a music genre. So with that said, yeah, maybe there's more place for more genre, more representation, more ghetto.
I'm in the ghetto. Ra-ta-ta-ta. Ra-ta-ta-ta.
More breaks, more EBM. It can all belong, and it does belong regularly every Sunday on the dance floor with techno. So
okay, let's keep going. Okay.
Yeah.
Protecting that vision takes creative freedom and financial strength to stay independent. We know not everyone will follow us down this path. That's part of the decision.
So my question is like, what is independent? We also had like a lot of comments like, Stone Techno is an independent festival, blah, 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 blah. And my question, what is an independent festival?
maybe you can define it for us in the comments, because we had this small conversation before we began about like the word or the definition of independent. What is an independent business? What is an independent festival? What is independency in that sphere at all? Mark said it's kind of being detached from major labels. But aren't you already a major label if you are doing a project that involves music and has a revenue of, I guess, $1 million?
The question is, you can be independent and earn a lot of money. That's kind of true. The thing that in music business, what I know, like not being independent, it means like you have a corporation like Universal or Columbia or whatever.
You have
Sony.
a corporation in the game.
Yeah, you have a corporation in the game. And by these standards, every techno festival is independent in that sense.
And people will say all major festivals were bought by KKR, by weapon companies, and blah blah blah. And Stone Techno not yet. You know, I'm accentuating. It's not yet bought by major corporations, and I'm sure that at some point of time, or maybe already, there was an offer on the table, and I'm glad for them that they refused. If they refused, we cannot know that. I just want to mention Arte is
It's a state company.
It's a state company, okay? We can research more and more about who they are and what they are, but to my opinion, to my perspective, Arte was creating FOMO material from Zollverein from the pandemic. Arte started doing streamings from Berghain when there was still lockdown. Arte was filming Zollverein, this UNESCO place where Stone Techno takes place, and Arte was giving us this content that fed us with, wow, these are amazing artists. It gave them exposure. These are these amazing places where these artists perform. So I'm not saying Arte is an evil corporation. I'm saying, like, on the contrary, it's super nice to have a state or a big channel show maybe people that never experienced it what's going on behind these walls, or give us hope during dark times where we couldn't club, which was also like the motivation behind the Techno team, to give people out some content to uplift them, to give them to throw them back to a nice memory from the past, or to show those who never been clubbing before what's it all about in a nice, approachable, like in a nice, accessible kind of way. So I love that Arte is participating in that project, but it feels to me that Arte is partnering on that project. And if Arte is partnering on your festival project, you're not that independent anymore. If you have major team cameras, camera teams on 2 big dance floors during the festival, and on the afters, where it's like kind of close and more intimate and smoky, but you still have a fucking film camera going back and forth. You know, we were at that after in the Maschinenraum, and it was one of the prettiest floors I've ever seen. Like I said it before, the Maschinenraum, this after dance floor of Stone Techno, is like a boutique version of Tresor Kraftwerk together with Berghain Halle. It seems amazing, but as soon as you go into the floor and then you look around and there's like a huge camera going back and forth from the stairs and filming you, you feel like you're being gooned at a little bit, like in Kit Kat, you know. So
I taught him some new words, but one other thing besides Arte, okay, we can say state media, it's not major, it's the contrary of major. But for me, it's difficult to believe that something is independent that can get UNESCO World Heritage as a location, you know? If you are a nobody, independent, or whoever, getting like locations like this is like a little bit unbelievable.
Yeah, I think independent is definitely not directly underground. An underground collective would probably not get the access to this
I mean, you say I'm
reservoir.
underground and I get like a concert at Brandenburger Tor. You know,
it's impossible. The connections that you have to have, the standards that your company has to have, the guarantees that you have to put in. You know, maybe the first festival they were an independent label, but now it's the 4th or the 5th. In order to get that organization going on, you cannot be independent. And that's okay. You just don't have to be ashamed about it. The same as you don't have to call your festival a rave.
That's true. But let's keep going with the announcement.
We're giving the area room to breathe again. Better circulation, smarter stage design, refined curation, and intentional fewer people. We're reducing capacity by 1,000 attendees per day. Fewer tickets on the same ground means each one has to carry more. That's why the price is right to 39 euros for a weekender compared to last year. Because a smaller, better festival means investing more in every single guest.
Okay.
So every single guest is investing more to you.
Yeah. So it's becoming more elitist. Yeah. The threshold is rising.
I mean, there were some people that said they never paid 2,000 euro for a festival.
And there was as much people that said that they just recently paid 2,000 euros for a festival. But we can go through that.
They just don't understand that the drive and the hotel room is basically part of the festival.
Yeah, it is a part of the investment you have to make. Some people are like, oh, okay, so listen. I understand that if you are a very organized traveler, raver, pilgrim, whatever, you can buy early birds to everything. I am not able to make plans for next week, but that's me. I can make plans for a week. Yeah, maybe
This we call ADHD, by the way.
ADHD, procrastination, whatever. Call it whatever you want. Maybe some of you resonate with me. I cannot make plans for more than a week ahead. I can have some appointments, the doctors here, that deadlines in a month. I know that maybe I have an operation in a year, but I cannot plan going to a rave a half a year before, especially with those festivals where they're sold out the first day they're published, and you expect me to buy the early bird? How am I going to know? How am I supposed to know what I'm doing next July? And they published. I'm going to come back to this publishing that they did in a second. They published these loyalty tickets, so you have to buy them a year ahead. It's rigged. It's I don't know, like asking people to invest in your business and buy your product, your merch, whatever, a year ahead before they're getting it. Is just an amazing business model, but it's the opposite of being underground. It's not, it doesn't sound or seem independent to me. It sounds to me like the visitors of the festivals are actually going for the risk. They are covering all the cost, the base cost, the fixed cost for the festival organizer. And then the festival organizer has just a year to work with no concerns, which is, again, it doesn't sound for me very independent. We're both entrepreneurs. We know how difficult it is to build up a business. We also did a lot of events for some years, and we know how complicated it is to create a party, to create the perfect party. And we were always working towards the last months, towards the last weeks, towards the last days. And I'm not saying a festival should be like that. There's too much risk involved. You don't want to have a million Euro festival risking the fixed costs till the last week. But I also think it's a little bit suspicious, or at least rude, to come out with an apology, with like a carousel post of an apology, where the first slide is, first of all, buy your loyalty tickets. And
It's
then
not the first slide, okay?
Isn't that the first slide?
it's the last
Take a
slide.
look.
It's
Take
the
a
last
look.
slide. It's
What's the first
third
slide?
one.
What's the first slide?
I read them by order, okay? Stop it.
What's
okay?
the first slide?
The first
No,
slide-
no, 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 no. The
This
first
is the
slide.
This is the first slide.
This is the first slide. This is the first slide. Read it.
Loyalty tickets now.
Fuck
okay,
you.
Sorry.
Fuck everybody who tries to emotionalize on ravers and on their FOMO and then apologizing for not delivering the product last time. Fuck you. Yeah. Because now I was upset because I got this post and I was like, oh, they're on the right way. They're on the right way. They're apologizing. They already apologized. They did an apologizing post during the festival, which I thought was super correct because the first day was chaos. We weren't there on the first day. We came on the second day. I mean, we came on the night of the first day, and I saw this post and I said, okay, they take responsibility. They're connected. And then I saw after the festival, I saw another big interview with the main organizer, with Ahmed, and he again apologized and said they were doing their best. And he seems like a mensch, you know. He seems like a human being, and I'm resonating with him. I know the struggle, I know the responsibility, and he has a way bigger responsibility than I carried for our event. So there's a lot in stake. There's a lot in the game, and then there's this post coming. You didn't even wait a week for people to like kind of let it settle, let it go down, give the official apology, say what you're gonna make better, and let it kind of settle down. Let it kind of, how do you say?
Sink in. I don't know.
Let it sink in, and then come out with the sales.
Let it
Then
breathe.
let it breathe. That's what I was. That was what I was searching for. Let it breathe, so the people can be like, okay, they're taking care of us. They're considering what we're saying. We are part of it. We are taking part in the decisions and come up with a concrete agenda. What you're going to do, not these vast, vague kind of promises like a politician. This is going to be better. This is going to be better. Come up with a plan.
This is also what I want to mention. For me, like as an independent festival, for me it's kind of odd that they do statements like this, like a press statement. Like
Yeah.
the press secretary is coming up front and telling
Yeah.
the president says this and that,
Yeah,
and this
yeah.
and that. We'll do the better.
Yeah.
Vote us again.
It all
It's a
shouts.
bit,
It all shouts. Not underground.
Yeah.
Yeah, but whatever. Let's say, okay, now you're out with the announcement. Now you have your loyalty tickets. Everybody got a lot of mails, a lot of reminders. I'm seeing like my friends and stuff. they're getting like bombed right now. And it feels to me like something in the construction is shaking. So they want to make it as safe as possible. So there's the capital there and they can work with it the whole year. You know what? Good plan financially. But I want to ask concretely about the promises that are being made. So they say 1,000 people less. How many people were in the festival, like to your estimation?
I'm really bad at estimating.
Yeah.
Is it like 10,000 or more?
I don't even think that it's in the 10,000.
No, 5.
I think it's in the 6,000.
But it's like 20% less, right?
That's what I'm saying. It's like
It's like Thanos in a way.
Huh?
Like Thanos.
Thanos.
In a way.
every fifth raver. Ciao. Going
Now
back
you're
to
gonna
Sisyphus.
appreciate them more.
Where do ravers go after they vanish from a festival?
Psychiatric ward.
From one psychiatric ward to another.
I guess. I mean,
Okay.
they have the bands.
Maybe to a normal 9 to 5. Okay, so they say 1,000 people less, and that's why everybody else have to carry. Instead of saying, you know what, if you're loyal now, just pay the same, and we'll give you more. No, if you're loyal now, give us a little bit more. It sounds like a Ponzi scheme.
Does it?
A little bit.
I don't know.
If you're loyal now, keep your money with us.
For me, the festival didn't felt overcrowded.
Didn't
to be
feel
honest.
overcrowded.
But the flow, like what they said, the circulation was
Exactly.
bad. As you told, like the
I was
stage-
searching for that word for weeks,
What?
and they said it. Circulation. I wanted
Yeah.
to explain why the floors didn't feel dancey to me. So you can have 1 million people in a festival, but still give everybody enough space to at least dance, at least enjoy the music, enjoy their birthright, right? So what I'm saying is I just got a footage from Ozora Festival. It's a Psytrance festival in Hungary, going for many, many years. And there's a lot of examples of many festivals that go for many, many years and still keep something that is kind of a strong core of identity and something that is really evolving around music and dance. Like Ozora, like, for example, this festival that happened right after Stone, it was Monegros. The foot.
Monegros.
Monegros.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's, I saw the
Where
foot.
is this? Montenegro or something? What?
No, it's in Spain.
Okay.
It's in the desert.
Okay.
And you had big commercial names there. You had Klangkünstler, you had whatever, but it felt, I don't know what this was. It felt like really an alien party in the desert. And you had also like OG underground names there. So you had a little bit of both. And it felt like the earth was shaking. And I saw the footage and people are actually dancing wildly. You know what I really missed in Stone? I didn't see people dancing wildly because every time you would go into the dance floor, you wouldn't have the space for that. And people were kind of moving around. And the floor itself, so one of the main stages, especially where Kelza and Ogazon were playing, in order to come to the front, you had to really struggle around because many people were just standing around.
And so basically dry humping there. I didn't feel too comfortable. I swear. on
People
God,
were dry humping you. Absolutely,
Yeah.
I agree. So you already have a floor that is inclined, which is not. I'm trying not to be too critical right now. You know, they say a bad dancer is disturbed by the floor. You know, so you actually don't have to have excuses. You can dance everywhere. You can dance on grass, on a wooden floor, on concrete floor, whatever. But if it's already inclined, it's a little bit less comfortable. If it's pressed and you don't have space to move, it's not comfortable. If the circulation, and I'm coming to this topic, if the circulation is not thought through, then it doesn't matter how many people you have in the festival. You can have a dance floor of 200 people and it's still going to feel pressed because every dance floor has to have multiple exits and entries and both of them have to function vice versa. Yeah, so I don't know how they're going to make it because it's a science, you know, and many clubs were built on that craft, especially the one and only. Which is always full on big days, but somehow still flows. Yes, also in Berghain on big days, like CSD a week ago, I was there. It was full, but you know what? I have fun. I had fun. I had a good dance, and people were pressing against each other. But as soon as it came to the dance, everybody was giving space. So even in the fullest day, there is the so-called Einlassstopp, you know, where you stop letting people into the club, and there is circulation. And the most important thing that you said, what we were missing mostly at the afters, is that you still want to stay in the cave, but you also want to take a rest. You also want to sit down. You want to observe or absorb what's happening around. You don't want to have just one dance floor where everybody's just standing and there's no place to escape. both of the afters didn't have good sitting places where you just could have a rest and listen to the music. Didn't have any chill zones. You know, you don't have to necessarily have a dark room.
I mean, the chill zones were outside with no music. Basically.
Exactly. The chill zone is outside, and the path between the dance floor and the outside was enormous. Like the way you had to go by foot from the dance floor to the outside was just 10 minutes of walking.
I mean, it wasn't 10 minutes, but it broke the vibe.
Yeah.
You felt like you're leaving the party.
Yeah.
Basically, you know.
It's okay if you go to smoke outside, you know, but you still maybe sometimes just want to have a rest and listen to the music, you know. You don't want to have tables. No tables. There's a difference between sitting places and VIP zones. Yeah, that's definitely not what I'm saying. You just want to have a chill zone, you know, and still be part of what you want to participate, not necessarily by dancing all the time, but you do want to be part of the participation.
Yeah. So, do we want to proceed with some comments to our video? So, we posted a short on Instagram, and it got a lot of attention. And there is a lot of people asking, like, what's his name? Ari Bravo. Shout out to you.
Here. You can put his Insta
his comment here.
I think he really wants the attention. You know what? We saw his somehow the algorithm of TikTok sent him to you.
I'm not sure if it was him, but it looked
I'm absolutely sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sure? Okay.
We're gonna put his TikTok here.
No. I won't find it anymore.
No.
You know?
We're not gonna give him the clout.
So basically, he's asking. I will put this comment here somewhere. Here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you calculate 2,000 euros for the Stone Techno Festival? And a lot of other people were asking it too.
Yeah.
So please, can you elaborate on your calculation, how you spend 2,000 euros on a festival?
Okay, so
when the ticket prices are 200-300 euros or whatever.
Cool. So the first argument that many people had was that the ticket prices for Stone are never 300 euros. Where first of all, they are always 300 euros if you don't buy it as an early bird. Yeah. So the weekender is about 300 euros. If you don't plan this festival, if you're not part of the loyal family of this independent organization, yeah, you don't pay 150, you pay 300. Okay, so 300 per person. Now, let's say I'm a hard raver.
Harder techno bass, sex, drugs, alcohol.
Okay, which I am.
Harder techno bass.
He's a fucking raver.
I hate that song. So let's say I'm a hard raver. That means for me that I go to the festival, I get charged up by dancing, not necessarily by other stuff, not necessarily. And I want to continue. So I'm going to the afters. And then the first problem begins and the first costs are adding up with the in-app add-ons. So you want to go to the afters spontaneously or not as an early bird, you have to pay 35 euros for one after. There are two afters happening every night. If you're a hard raver, you're going to go to both.
That's also like a weird thing I want just to address, that the festival tickets doesn't give you access to the after parties, or is there a special ticket? Obviously there's a pricing model behind it, but that the festival ticket doesn't include the after party is kind of weird, and two separates on both ends also kind of weird. Imagine like you have a friends group and somebody chooses there and there and what now, you know?
Coming back to the concept of a festival as an all-you-can-eat, if I'm there with my friends and we want to taste both of these kind of sounds, there was one curation of one club or label and one after, and like Fold or something, and the other had another curation. We want to go to both. The distance between them was huge, but I mean the physical distance, but we would still make it. You know, we would go for 2-3 hours there, 2-3 hours there, and then home. But in order to get the two of them, you have to pay separate tickets. So not only it's an add-on to the festival ticket, it's also a separate add-on from each other. So 35 euros for one party, 7-hour party, let's say, which is insane. Like you don't, Birken comes to 35 euros or surpasses it only on huge days where you have non-stop 72 hours on 3-4 dance floors. Okay, so you would say, okay, they have the system, they have the it's going on for years, they know how to keep it efficient. Okay, so what was the problem just to take one add-on and let us go into the afters? Yeah, that's the first point. 35 euros each night multiplied by 2 is 70. You have 3 nights of festival, and if you're a hard raver, you go to all of them. All days, all nights. You have some sleep in between. The festival only begins at midday. and you can have enough rest. Let's say you come at like 2-3 p.m. and you celebrate till the morning and do that for 3 days. Did it like several festivals. It's realistic, even sober. Like, why not? You know, it's like a marathon.
Yeah, you don't have anything else to do, right?
Exactly. You came
Besides-
already to that city to dance. You know,
Besides
so
drinking coffee in the morning and go
Yeah.
to the fucking rain.
so are you with me on the calculation?
No.
70.
70 is
3
the after
times?
parties.
Yeah, after parties.
Okay.
70 euros if you go to both of them.
Mhm.
3 days. How much? 210 euros.
Mhm.
210 euros together with 300 is 510 euros.
Quick math.
Boom. 2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 1, that's 3. Quick maths.
500. Check the math.
Boom.
1 plus 1 is 2. Okay? 510 euros approximately. Yeah? Give or take. To rave all the weekend.
Boom.
Why should I leave my town for a festival that is going as long as the club nights in Berlin, for example, and also in other cities, for 5 times the price?
Okay, but I have to intervene now because I have to like come back to some humbleness and relatability. Here.
Relatability.
I'm here the grounding guy.
Yeah.
Okay? Not all people like you, fucker, live in Berlin and can experience this shit or Gazon
Agreed.
and whoever for
Agreed.
$25
Totally agree.
a week.
Yeah.
So there's people that coming from some based cities, let's say it like this, and want to experience.
Let's say
the
you're coming
Berlin
from a
vibe.
city with zero techno. Okay? You're coming from a city with zero underground culture, zero spaces for electronic music. Let's say you're coming from that place.
from Chechnya or something.
Shout out to Chechnyan ravers. If you're out there, especially
You're gonna
celebrating.
get killed, okay?
By
Do you know
who?
a Chechnyan raver? To be honest,
No, I know a lot of people.
Georgian.
Not Georgian.
Almost.
You don't compare Georgian with.
I mean, they like Christian.
No, I know a
Chechen.
lot of like Armenian, Georgian people,
Caucasus,
even
whatever.
even people, yeah, people like from Turkmenistan, but
Yeah.
no Chechnya.
Yeah,
no
Chechnya
Chechnya.
is pretty close.
Shout out to Chechnyan techno
Is there
and
any-
queerness. I think there's no official queer people in Chechnya because
Yeah, they murdered them. Yeah, but Grozny would be like a cool name for a techno club. I would say,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely. Grozny, the capital of Chechnya, actually sounds like something very intimidating in Russian. Yeah, Grozny, like Ivan Grozny, Ivan the Terrible. Yeah,
Literally, Ivan
yeah,
Grozny.
yeah. It's literally a terrible place for gay people.
For the sober mind.
I hope we're not killed. I hope I'm resembling a Chechnyan person enough to not be killed by them. So, listen, where are the ticket prices? So for Ari, what was his name? Ari?
Ari
Eddie?
Bravo. 80 Bravo.
Eddie Bravo. So regarding the money thing, from your Instagram, I don't think you have any money issues. So maybe for you it's not an issue, but for me, paying 500 euro for festival tickets is way too much. Yeah. And I hope, and I saw also in the comments that many were resonating with that. So I'm probably kind of, we are onto something. You know, we've touched a point that is painful for many, but I think many are embarrassed, especially in our times right now, with all that performance culture and everything. Many are just kind of embarrassed to say it's a little bit too much for them. They want to be part of it. They want to participate. They want to be there. And many people in the comments say, so don't participate, don't be. But we want to. We want to. So we swallow it. We come. We pay. And we
Swallow it,
want
we
to be
come.
part. We're sacrificing our hard work, exchange to money, exchange to an experience. And we want to get that experience. And we want to feel that we are getting the fair exchange. I don't want to be already in the festival, already having that all weekender, and then having to pay. Coming back to the costs. What did we pay for food?
We only ate once or twice, right?
In the festival grounds, we ate at 2 vendors.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we ate currywurst with pommes,
fresh,
like
yeah.
so sausage with French fries for approximately, I would say, 10-15 euros.
Yeah, so curry was like 15 euros or something.
15 euros for
Crazy.
currywurst, and another Korean bun with another Korean dish for 30 euros. So it was like €15 to eat something very, very small, and you probably have to feed on that if you don't have hunger problems or hunger sustaining issues in the festival. You probably eat maybe once or twice a day, so it's like 3 days. You spend per person, let's say 15-20 euros a day for food. It's another €6, and then we come to beverages. All the beverages were double the price than the clubs in our town. Maybe Berlin is not an expensive city. A lot of clubs are paying attention to fair pricing.
I mean, like 6-7 euros for a Coke is crazy.
Yeah,
It's
like
crazy.
soft drinks for like €7, and long drinks for double that price, and shots for the same price as soft drinks. It felt like too much. And coming back to one of the points we mentioned last time, I really expect a German festival to serve at least one kind of German beer.
Bayern und das bayerische Bier, Bayern und das Reinheitsgebot, das ist unser flüssiges Brot.
Like, come on,
Nationalism.
it's our but I mean it's our national product. It's so accessible, and I will give you now an example of an improvement that a festival could make in order to be more sustainable, project a little bit more support to local businesses, be a little bit more bio, and feel a little bit less commercialized and dependent. You could have so many local breweries. So the festival is in Essen, let's say Ruhrgebiet. I am guessing, like raw guessing, that there's 100 of local breweries, of independent breweries. Just give them a square meter, let them sell their beer. Bring a vendor that is local, support local businesses, support variety, let people that come from abroad to Germany for that festival taste local product. Everybody, same as you had a curry. Why do you have a currywurst in a festival in the Ruhr? It's a Berlin dish. Like, what does it have to do with the culture of that geographical like state? Why not serve something that is just local? If you're an independent local festival, why not let somebody from, it was probably a local vendor, but why are you serving a Berlin dish? Why are you serving Dutch beer? Like, nothing against Dutch beer. Heineken is Dutch?
Probably.
It's either Denmark or Netherlands. But why are you serving the most commercial beer brand on a festival that is allegedly not commercial? Put just 1, 2, 3 breweries. Put 1, 2, 3 vendors that actually are from the area, and believe me, it will be cheaper. It will be cheaper because they have less route to make it to the festival. They are already familiar with their work.
I think just they sponsored them. That's it.
Absolutely.
So it's not cheaper.
Desperados and
You get paid to sell
Heineken,
it,
yeah,
so
exactly.
better off.
Desperados and Heineken are definitely not a sign of good taste. We don't have to say now, oh, it's a festival of like techno music, so alcohol doesn't matter that much. Alcohol was definitely consumed there. If we're ravers, it doesn't mean that we're all on ecstasy. We can also have a couple of shots and a beer, and you can also serve like alcohol-free beer from a local brewery. There's just enough options to present support of local businesses, and by that support kind of a sustainable concept, even if it's not going to be sustainable the first year. You know what I mean? If you want to build something that is really an organism that works on these virtues, on these values, then it has to project in everything that you're doing. It has to be kind of presented in the whole construction of the festival. What did you think of the security team? What did you think of the security team, by the way?
Not present.
Yeah.
I mean, they barely checked anything.
Did you see awareness going around?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
awareness was there. Okay.
But let's get back to are we done with the calculation? Let's get just back to the topic because Ari
So yeah,
Bravo
like
was
with
waiting for the
food,
calculation.
beverages, 510 euro tickets as a hard raver. I am only with this. I'm already invested in about like 750 euros, and then the hotel and the ride even if I go with the train, with the Deutsche Bahn, and I take a hostel, I'm still at over 1,000, like easily.
Yeah,
I
would.
So don't tell me, like,
agree.
this girl, friend of ours, I don't want to say names now, she used to work for Stone, and she commented that she never spent more than 350 euro on a festival. But, not all of us are capable of tenting everywhere. Not all of us are capable of asking every festival to give us discounts. We're not here. You have two of the biggest techno influencers in the world, and we don't ask for free tickets. We don't ask for guest list. Somebody came up to me and she was like, this girl came up to me. She was a little bit high, and she was like, "Are you on the guest list?" I'm like, "On the festival." I'm like, "What guest list?" I would expect you to be on the guest list.
Yeah.
Babe, I don't have to be on the guest list to be a guest. What is that question even?
Yeah, elaborate. We also, because we got like a lot of critique on Instagram, on TikTok we got like only love, by the way. But the first day we posted our short or the video, also like somebody from third room, a worker, addressed us and said like, "You're onto something."
I would rather not talk about it.
Okay, we are not talking about it, so let's proceed.
I would rather not talk about it.
Okay.
There is some classified information that we got after it was published, and guess we're not that wrong. Yeah. There was a comment. Put me out of my
Pause.
comfort zone right now.
Yeah,
off the
I
record.
have
we
to- I
have
have
to
to-
respect our journalistic.
Yeah, but you have
values.
also feed some sauce, some
Yeah.
food for the brain.
Let's say we're not lunatics, yeah, and we're not too snobbish to get our feet dirty on a festival. We were to some different festivals and we enjoyed them in different ways, and we don't have too high expectations, but we also don't like when something stinks, and if it stinks, we say it. I wanted to read another comment from a guy that apparently was organizing, producing events or festivals in the past, because his comment was very empathetic towards the organizers. Shout out to Danny Tenaglia. Danny Tenaglia is one of the biggest OGs ever in electronic music. He's a US DJ that if you would ask a DJ who's a DJ's DJ, a lot of them would call what Danny's name.
Mason.
Huh?
Patrick Mason.
If you ask Patrick Mason who were the most influential DJs in the 90s and the early 2000s, he would probably also say Danny Tenaglia. So Danny Tenaglia just commented on our video, what is not out of control these days? And he's right. Everything is out of control. Everything is
What's
rigged.
the point? Why are you citing him?
No, it was just I was
Okay. Just flexing on the comment section. Huh?
Yeah, I was super glad to see that this comment was very interesting. So neutral, yeah. The Sinful Son commented, define rave anno 2026. To me, a festival is no rave. So I tried with my answer
True.
I tried to with my answer to him with our answer to define what is rave. I told him you're absolutely right on both. The definition of rave at our times became so vast and vague that people use that as a synonym for a party with electronic music. Nowadays, they even use it as a selling point for whatever. I recently saw a story of an event in Berlin that called themselves book reading rave. And it's just a session of 1 hour, people sitting on a rooftop, everyone reads their own book, and there's some guitar music playing in the background. What does that have to do with a rave? This is a rape of the word rave. I'm sorry. Like, why are you using it for? Do words even have meaning anymore?
No, we are coming to an era where words stop having meaning, obviously,
yeah.
and also
and
brands, obviously,
which are words.
But there is also, like, just adding to your coffee table rave.
Yeah.
There was also like a chill out event in Kraftwerk where they say now you have to also go industrial and brutalistic to touch some grass in the city. which is also kind of crazy. They're appropriating or like they're taking the aesthetics of something that is like super like outgoing, you know, connecting.
I understand the usage of electronic music to ground. I understand even the usage of industrial techno to ground yourself, but it's definitely no chill. It's definitely no chill. I think one of the core elements of rave and one of the most common elements throughout ravers, throughout the community, is the love for intensity. Even sober ravers and non-sober ravers unite under the love for the intensity. We go to the rave searching for an intense experience. And for me, everything that is not intense is probably not a rave. Everything that is not intense, I can hardly define or put together in one sentence with a rave. You can have a party with electronic music. You can have a party with the chill zone. You can have a party with ambient music. But to call it a rave means that you're adding a certain layer of intensity, whether it's the protest, whether it's going against the man, whether it's very like hard music or a hard dance session, where it's just sweaty, whether it's the coming together, whether it's the length of the party, which I want to come back to at the Stone again. But it's about intensity. Rave has something to do with intensity. I want to come back to the definition that I answered to this person. So I said rave became such a vast and vague term that people just use it as a synonym for party with electronic music. A good example of what a rave in 2026 might be, like a modern rave, and still could be called a rave, is people gathering in developing countries that are going through an evolution of national identity and sort of an awakening, not the festival. Yeah? So to be more concrete, Kiev is raving at the moment. Tbilisi is raving at the moment. Belgrade is raving at the moment. Hungary is raving. Poland is raving. Other countries that already been through that phase of liberation have to put in a lot of work, keep reinvesting, and achieve cultural acknowledgement and support from the state in order to maintain their values and keep on going. That means that for Berlin, for example, to maintain the authenticity of the rave, you have to have an acknowledgement of these spaces so they don't get closed down by gentrification. You have to have the support of the state and the EU, which is happening, and clubs in Berlin are being supported by the EU and the German government in order to keep the prices low. So basically subsidies, in order to make these places accessible for people with handicaps, with people for people from different backgrounds. For all of that, you need like national support. In the countries where there's no national support, the underground rave is happening. The original rave is happening. So I'm not saying the raves in Berlin are not real. I'm not saying the raves in the US are not real. I'm just saying those raves in these developed countries that went through that liberation towards sexual freedom, towards the freedom of gathering, the freedom of celebration of electronic music, and so on. These places were win or have a healthy support from the state, and that's why they can keep the rave going. The other places where there's a conflict between what's going on behind the doors and the walls of the club and outside of the club, these are the places where the rave is happening right now, where it's in its raw form, where it's getting born. It's Armenia, it's Georgia, again, it's Serbia, all these places where you have a conservative society and a core of youth, whether queer, open-minded, whatever, that is kind of fighting against that. And that, for me, is the definition of raves, especially nowadays. So I want to just read that to the end. Places like Amsterdam, London, and Berlin are developed places. These are places that have to have a support from the state and have to be acknowledged as cultural spaces, and then they might be saved. Everything else, then these two scenarios, so basically acknowledgement or fight against the establishment, everything else, then these two scenarios, so going against the system or having achieved the cultural status, cannot be a rave, and is just basically a part of the entertainment industry. Doesn't matter owned by which monopoly, duopoly, or triopoly. Okay? So for me, everything that is called a rave and is not acknowledged by the state, everything that you call a rave and is not acknowledged by the state as as culture, and is not there to go against something, against the suppression, against conservatism, everything else is just entertainment, gastronomy, showbiz. Yeah. So a rave in Las Vegas, probably not. Yeah. Same with festivals. I think that festivals are not a rave because they are part of the entertainment industry. They are a result of many, many years of development of the culture of electronic music. Many of them began as raves. Some of them might have maintained the spirit of it. But as soon as you go from 50 people walking on Kudam 1989 with Dr. Moten calling themselves Love Parade, to 2 million people in Tomorrowland celebrating in a super gentrified Belgium or Holland or other super developed capitalistic countries, where you go from this to that, you cannot call yourself underground anymore. You cannot call yourself rave anymore. You are a memorial of rave. I think most of festivals are a memorial, a day, a memorial day or a week for the times where the festivals were born. Yeah.
And to increase your ball knowledge, I gonna speak out a recommendation for you, because there is like a really good documentary just released a few weeks ago.
We were invited to the premiere.
We were invited to the premiere from Dr. Motte himself.
Because we the OG, you know.
Das alles parallel mitzuerleben, dieses Back and Forth von der Gegenwart zur Vergangenheit im Film war schon ein geiler Trip. Deswegen Hut ab auf jeden Fall.
About the Love Parade. And there you can really see just what he said. It started with the representation of the artsy underground culture, and at some point it gets to the abomination of it, where even Dr. Motte himself was disgusted of his own product and left the Love Parade in 2002 or 3 or whatever, and said, I don't want to be part of this bullshit anymore. Yeah. And this is what he experienced 20 years ago, and this cycle getting faster and faster with every techno festival, I guess, or like every bigger party collective, I guess, right?
So he founded Love Parade in 89. It went so big that 1.5 million, from 50 people, 1.5 million people were celebrating at the end of the 90s, 99, 2000, 2001. And then he sold the brand, blah, blah, blah. And then a couple of years later, he decided to try and kind of give it like a phoenix rebirth, not being able to use the brand. He called it Rave the Planet. We participated in this big comeback. In the year of 22, we had our own truck on Love Parade. We went into this adventure with him. He came to our studios with his spouse, Ellen. They were just, in the founding process of Rave the Planet, and they invited us to participate and do our own truck. An experience that we will never forget, for the good and the bad. It was a legendary day that left a mark on us. But what I'm telling this for is that even this, with all the intention, with all the influence that he has, it took him 1, 2, 3 years and exposure all over the TV and internet channels. And he cannot fight the commercialism of it. Yeah. Even though they don't allow big sponsorships on Rave the Planet, they don't really let the capitalism in. You can still not call it a rave anymore. I mean, it's called Rave the Planet, but the difference between this and a rave is huge. Yeah, people are outside there. It's for free. It's registered as a protest. So, but the barrier here is more for the promoters and the people that are doing the trucks. We had to pay a lot of money in order to bring that to life. And we know for 100% from other trucks that it costs a lot of money. You have to have a commercial or a capitalistic mechanism in order to make that happen. And in order to not die with no penny under the bridge after you did that, you still have to have a sustainable commercial capitalistic mechanism to keep that going. You know, so if you spend like 40, 50K on a project, you have to be a little bit more commercialized than a 5-person queer collective doing a party once in half a year in a club for 200 people, you know? So as soon as it gets to a size like that, you cannot hold it back. It cannot be non-commercial anymore. What they do have, and other festivals don't have, and what they were fighting for many years, is the acknowledgement by UNESCO. They achieved it. Unfortunately, they achieved it after Zurich. I don't know why Zurich Techno was acknowledged before Berlin Techno, but it doesn't matter. As long as we are all acknowledged, it's all good. Zurich also have their parade. I forgot how it's called, but it's also like something very similar to Rave the Planet. It's of course smaller scale. By the way, shout out to Zurich. They have 3 techno clubs or clubs of electronic music, as I heard, and they should be acknowledged as they are. But what I'm saying is, I think this combo of doing a huge event, getting subsidies from the state, and acknowledgement from cultural international organizations is maybe the only path for creating something that still has the spirit of rave, though happening in a developed country and hosting 1 million people. So so far for raving. There was one more comment that I wanted to...
Okay, so let's last comment and we're closing this video out for now.
You think?
Yes, and 1 hour in, we had enough of pondering about Stone Techno. And
it's not you know what, it's not about Stone Techno Festival. This whole video and the previous one are not about Stone Techno. Stone Techno was just a trigger, a symptom to something that is happening in society, the people that were there, how they behave, because it's not their fault. It's, you know what, I don't think even that's it's the Stone Techno Festival organizers' fault. I don't think it's the ravers' fault that they behave or dance or move that way or another. I think it's just the zeitgeist. I think it's the spirit of time. And this was just an example for us. And if we would go to another festival, we would probably have maybe even worse feedbacks, you know? Thank God that festivals like Stone Techno exist, because they still expose and give stage to many beautiful artists, and then they bring people together, and they celebrate the culture that we love so much. But I think our job, and the reason why also you watch us, and the reason why you follow us, is because we are actually fucking independent, and we carry some kind of a responsibility towards ourselves and towards you to give you our authentic opinion, to speak out, because we're not sponsored yet. And I guarantee you hereby that even if one of the next episodes is going to have a banner of, by the way, advertisers, this
is a good spot.
This could be you.
Here.
This could be you as well. We're gonna be like a Formula 1 car. We're gonna have, Marky's gonna have one brand. I'm gonna have a couple of. I'm gonna have a. Yeah. So
ICOS, please reach out.
Spill all your money on us, so we can spill all the truth. I can guarantee you, it's probably not going to be a sponsor from this business. It's going to be somebody from completely somewhere else, because they are way too afraid that we're going to say what we really think. But this is the whole point. We are saying what we think, and that's why you're here, probably. So Stone was just a report about our personal experience. So nobody should take it personally. Except for the guy that, nobody should take it personally. It's just our personal opinion, our subjective opinion. And maybe by having our community, having our reach and speaking out and encouraging other people to speak up about their opinion and going into discussion with us, like, prove us wrong. Prove us wrong. Prove us that you have a different kind of an experience. As I always say, one party can be the best day of someone's life and the worst day of another. It's very, very subjective. So somebody can have the best experience of their life in Stone, and we had, but we said in the last episode, we had a beautiful experience. All in all, we had a beautiful experience because we had our bro trip, we went around, we partied, you know, but there's probably some points that we can speak of, and maybe we can make something better with that for somebody else watching right now and thinking whether they should do their first festival as a guest or as an organizer, and maybe also the people from Stone that could make something better by disconnecting for a second from their corporate structure and actually listening to the voice of the people. Yeah,
the voice of the people. And finalize it.
I'm gonna finalize it now.
Okay.
I'm not gonna mention the brand. This is the best coconut water in the world. Okay,
Does it
it's a
have
German
salt?
company. They were probably I will send them the video. If you're ready to sponsor us, I'm ready to drink it all the time. My son loves it. It's super expensive relatively to normal water. It turns pink when it changes temperature, which is supposed to happen with real coconut water. And it's really tasty. You want to have a sip? Like, tell me, isn't it not like perfect coconut?
Yeah.
It has a nutty flavor. So
It tastes nuts.
it's
Pause.
drink it. It tastes like nuts. I would coconut water with the brand These Nuts would kind of work. I don't know. So
Oh.
I think my tone of closing should be this.
Yeah.
What bothered me the most was that the music was turned off. The last thing a raver wants, I'll repeat it. The last thing a raver wants is for the music to go off, to turn off. The last thing a dance floor wants at a club night is for the music to go off and the lights to turn on. You want a party where you never know when it's ending. You want a party, even when it's ending, you want the people to have the vibe as if it's not ending. You know, you want always this feeling of mystery, whether it's going to end now or in another track or in 10 hours. So,
Edging.
Oh, we love edging. Ravers love edging.
Edging and
Don't we?
gooning is the ravers one by one.
Yeah. The FOMO is the gooning and the dancing till the last track. Just one last track is the edging. I totally agree. So my proposal for improvement, something that could really change many festivals that are happening nowadays, not only Stone, I've seen this in many other festivals, is don't stop the music. Yeah? Hashtag Rihanna. Yeah? Just don't stop the music. If your festival has a program that goes from midday till 7 a.m., don't stop the music. Don't let the people wander around being on substances and have this 1 hour, even if it's only 1 hour of overlap between the day program and the night program. You have to have at least one dance floor that is nonstop. Why? Besides the fact that ravers just want to go on. The other reason is, if we have, again, I'm coming back to our privilege, if we have parties in the city that go for 72 hours and call themselves festivals in many clubs, not only Berghain, many clubs do a 72-hour party and call that festival, this is your turn to come in and say, no. A rave is not a festival. We are a festival. This is a festival. This is a mayhem that is going nonstop for at least 72 hours because you are all invested in this. You came from abroad. You came to pilgrim this. That's why the music is not going to stop. So my proposal to all modern festivals, because I'm sure that other festivals in the past and many OG festivals in the present are still doing that, is don't stop the music. Okay? The music should never stop. The music never stops. Okay? At least in our minds. Okay? So I hope that Stone hears that. I hears that. I hope that other festivals hear that. And I hope many of you could agree with me. And again, it's still my subjective opinion, but I'm sure it could make a huge difference in people's experience. It's at least my favorite part of a true club night, where I can just enter the dance floor, I can go home, wash myself, I can come back the next day. It's still going on. Not many clubs still do that. You have Sisyphus, you have Berghain, you have maybe 1 or 2 more spots in Berlin that go for these mayhem marathons. But you never know when people are going to align. You know, one person starts at midday, the other only wakes up at 2, 3, 4 p.m. And you want them to align. You want the hard ravers, the vanilla ravers, the beginners, and the intermediates, and the experienced one. You want them for at least one moment to overlap and resonate. And for that, in order to create the conditions for people to resonate with each other, you have to give them a broad kind of field where they can, you know, choose their fights and still meet somewhere in there. Okay? So in order to resonate, in order for people to come together, don't stop the music. Thank you.
We'll see you in the dark
Room.